Good evening. You must be living under a rock if you haven't heard of the great Niels Bohr.
Niels Bohr was a Danish physicist born on October 7, 1885 in Copenhagen, Denmark. He was the second of 3 children. His father was Christian Bohr, a professor of psychology at the University of Copenhagen, and his mother's name was Ellen Adler Bohr. Bohr married Margaret Norlund on August 1, 1912.
He is most famous for what is now known as the Bohr model of the atom. Niels Bohr adapted this theory from studying Rutherford's nuclear structure and Max Planck's quantum theory. He created a new way of looking at an old concept using the 1912 paper written by Darwin.
This is Bohr's model of the atom. The center of this sketch is the nucleus, which contains protons and neutrons, therefore making the nucleus positively charged. The rings around the nucleus are called orbitals, as the electrons are located in there and they orbit around the nucleus. The different orbitals also represent energy levels of electrons. This sketch represents Bohr's main discovery that the positively charged nucleus is surrounded by electrons that orbit it.
People wondered why electrons, which have a negative charge, weren't pulled into the nucleus, which had a positive charge. Remember that opposite charges attract each other. In 1913, Niels Bohr suggested an answer to that question. He thought that electrons traveled only in fixed paths as they traveled around the nucleus. The paths were a certain distance from the nucleus, and the electrons were required to follow these orbits, which he called energy levels.
World War II, Werner Heisenberg, a well-known physicist, met with longtime friend and mentor Niels Bohr. They met in Nazi territory, but it is believed that in the meeting, Heisenberg suggested to Bohr that it is important to create a friendly relationship between Germany and Denmark.
On March 3, 1921, Niels Bohr opened the Institute of Theoretical Physics, used for quantum mechanic research in the 1920s and 1930s, and it also offered refuge for German Jewish physicists during World War II.
Bohr was the recipient of the Nobel Prize in 1922. He was accredited for discovering the changes in physics affected the basics of science.
To end with one of Bohr's famous quotes is, "Your idea of course is crazy. The question is whether it is crazy enough to be true."